Love how you say that. Really makes it sound like you showed up, ever.
What the hell are you?
Is Pain Hustlers based on a true story? What really was the drug company scandal that inspired it? And are the main characters in the movie even based on real people involved? Today, we'll answer all these questions and show you what actually happened in Netflix's Pain Hustlers. Featuring Emily Blunt and Chris Evans, this cinematic portrayal of greed, deception, and the devastating impact of America's opioid crisis is certainly getting attention. But just how much creative license did the filmmakers take with the actual circumstances? What really went down at the pharmaceutical company pushing a highly addictive fentanyl-based drug? Speaking of the drug company, what was the actual name of the company that inspired the movie? In Pain Hustlers, many details diverge from the true story, one of them being the name of the drug company involved. The real scandal revolved around a company called Insys, but the movie depicts a fictional company called Zana. This is the company where Chris Evans' character, Pete Brenner, works, and where Eliza Drake is initially hired.
1 week to what?
Invent a doctor.
Invent a doctor? What does that mean?
Get a doctor to prescribe your drug. Just one script,
And if I don't?
and you're fired.
Zana serves as a substitute for Insys, portraying similar actions but under a different name for storytelling reasons. Is Pain Hustlers based on a true story? Yes, we can say that Pain Hustlers is loosely based on a true story. It was inspired by the real-life scandal involving Insys Therapeutics, a company that faced controversy over its pain relief spray containing the highly addictive opioid fentanyl aimed at cancer patients. The movie drew from Evan Hughes' article in the New York Times Magazine titled The Pain Hustlers, later expanded into the book The Hard Sell, Crime and Punishment at an Opioid Startup. However, while the movie took inspiration from these sources, its core plot is fictional and not based on Hughes' article. Director David Yates, known for his work on Harry Potter films, infused the movie with a comedic tone, which differed from the tone of Hughes' article. As Yates mentioned to Time magazine, the movie does not delve into the specifics of the Insys story. But what was the story? What really was the Insys scandal? Well, Insys Therapeutics sales representatives bribed doctors to prescribe the company's fentanyl-based drug Subsys. Anesthesias made a program called the Speaker Program, where they pay doctors to promote a very addictive drug.
Of course, we'll scale your fee according to your clinical experience.
My clinical experience?
We can give you $1,500 per speaking engagement, 3 per week, if you switch all your Xarafen patients to Lonafin.
For example, as reported by The Guardian, Insys paid about $260,000 to 2 New York doctors, who prescribed over $6 million worth of the drug Subsys in 2014. This drug was only supposed to be used for relieving pain in cancer patients and those very close to death. However, Insys pushed doctors to give the drug to lots of different people, even those who weren't approved to take it and were suffering from different kinds of pain. This led to more people getting addicted to opioids. What was the name of the real-life medication? In real life, Insys Therapeutics produced a medication called Subsys, which inspired the movie. Subsys was a liquid form of fentanyl that you put under your tongue. In the movie, they called the drug Lonafin. But apart from the name, they're pretty much the same thing. Did Insys salespeople really get big commissions? Well, it's true that Insys sales representatives made huge commissions, which might have made it easier for them to overlook the ethical issues. Based on stat news and court records, one Insys sales rep in Alabama earned a base salary of $40,000, but got over $700,000 in commissions between 2013 and 2015. Some absolutely crazy numbers.
Own your territory. You own a doctor. You own your territory. You own a doctor. Own a territory. You own a doctor.
Does the plot involving an Insys employee having a daughter with a brain tumor come from a true story? No, the storyline where Eliza Drake has a daughter with a brain tumor and epilepsy is not based on real events.
It's all right. She's okay. It's okay. She just needs some space. She's fine. She's fine. It's okay,
Is there anything I can get you?
It's okay. She just having a seizure. She's fine. She's fine. She's okay.
This aspect of the plot was crafted by the filmmakers to connect the character to the patients she's promoting her employer's drug to. Now, let's have a quick fact check on the characters of the movie. So, are the Pain Hustlers characters based on real people? No, the characters in Pain Hustlers aren't directly based on real individuals. While some of them might share similarities with people involved in the Insys scandal, they're fictional creations by director David Yates. Evan Hughes' article mentions that Insys Therapeutics hired a woman who used to be an exotic dancer, which likely inspired the main character, Eliza Drake. However, there aren't direct correlations with real people. Most characters are either entirely made up or are blends of multiple real-life individuals. Chris Evans' character, Pete Brenner, embodies traits of Alec Burlikoff, the focus of Hughes' article. Is there a person in real life who is similar to Andy Garcia's character, Jack Neal? While the character is mostly fictional, his character bears resemblance to John Kapoor, the founder of Insys Therapeutics. Kapoor, a billionaire who established the company in 1990, was sentenced to 5.5 years in prison in 2019 for bribing doctors. NCY settled with the federal government by paying $225 million, and eventually the company went bankrupt. Did the events depicted in Pain Hustlers actually occur in Florida? No, the incest scandal didn't specifically happen in Florida, although the movie is set there. The scandal actually unfolded across the United States, with salespeople operating nationwide. Insys Therapeutics, the real company involved, was headquartered in Chandler, Arizona. Did Insys Therapeutics make a rap video to advertise their fentanyl-based medication, Subsys? Yes, it might be surprising, but Insys Therapeutics did indeed produce a rap video to promote their highly addictive fentanyl-based medication, Subsys. We're linking the rap video in the description below, go check it out, it's definitely something. Before we move on, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Why did Pain Hustlers use a mock documentary style? Well, this was David Yates' decision. The film starts with characters being interviewed, giving the impression that a documentary is being made to tell the story of past events. This style, coupled with black and white visuals, enhances the documentary feel. Although a true documentary style might have suited Evan Hughes' expose, using a mock documentary approach in a fictional narrative is a compelling choice. It adds a sense of realism and authenticity to the story, even as the plot deviates from real events. Besides being a mock documentary, the movie also has another style. So, why did they add a comedic tone to the story? Surprise, this was David Yates again. It was his decision to introduce a comedic tone into the narrative. While Evan Hughes' story about incest likely comes across as tragic and unjust, Yates aimed to inject a sense of chaos and hilarity into the film. Although incest's actions were unquestionably unethical and harmful, Yates wanted to provide insight into the mindset of salespeople like Drake and Brenner, people who were driven by the prospect of financial gain rather than considering the harm they were causing. This comedic approach adds depth to Pain Hustlers, offering layers that Hughes' more straightforward journalistic account may have lacked. Why did Pain Hustlers focus on young people looking for success? In an interview with Time magazine, director David Yates admitted that he wanted the film, and Liza Drake's character in particular, to represent a certain group of people involved in the incest case. Yates stated, "It was made up of young people who were often in over their head and they were hungry for success, and a lot of that is embodied in her." While young people were certainly a factor, they definitely weren't the main characters that Yates makes them out to be in Pain Hustlers. In this way, Yates gave the story a different spin by focusing on a specific group of ambitious young people chasing success at all costs. Did Pain Hustlers show the full national scope of the incest scandal? No, despite the widespread impact of incest's unethical practices across the United States, Pain Hustlers narrows its focus to a more personal, localized story set primarily in Florida. While this helps make the tale more intimate and relatable, it omits the truly national scale of the real-life events. In actuality, the incest scheme played out in communities all over the country, as the company's sales force fanned out to push subsides through illegal means. The movie's Florida setting is just one relatively small part of a crisis that spanned from coast to coast. Did the stories have similar endings? Yes, the real-life company faced bad consequences as well. In the real-life case, Insys Therapeutics founder Dr. John Kapoor was convicted by a federal jury in 2019 for engaging in a racketeering conspiracy related to the company's illegal marketing practices. Kapoor was sentenced to over 5 years in prison, though he ended up serving just 2.5 years before being released early. Federal prosecutors had allegedly sought a much longer 15-year sentence for Kapoor, who Reuters described as the highest-level corporate executive convicted at trial of crimes related to the opioid epidemic. Ultimately, the company itself was also ordered to pay $225 million to settle the federal case against it. Not long after, Insys declared bankruptcy in the wake of the massive legal penalties and reputational damage from the scandal. What is your perspective on the movie? Now that you know the truth behind it, let us know in the comments below. Check out the official rap video from Insys in the description below, and remember to double-check your painkillers before you take them.
I sentence you to a period of incarceration of 1 year and 3 months.